Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. Guys, this past Sunday in the Power Circle meeting, two brothers asked a question that were very similar, and they were both pertaining to building the new version of yourself, right? And what they were saying is, we understand the concept of first understanding what it is we want to become, who we want to become, right? And the whole writing down process. They understood the whole going into the fifth dimension, going into meditation, whatever that means to you. Going into meditation and experiencing that person, living that life, feeling those feelings. They understood that. But where the separation came in is when it comes to, I always say praying without ceasing. In other words, that means going into that state you've created and never coming out of it, right? And they were like, how do you go from that to coming back to this third dimension and still, and creating that thing, right? So this is the thing. See, once you go to that fifth dimension, once you go into that meditative, that peaceful Zen state and create that new being, whatever emotions that are stirred up while over there, man, you have to bottle that up. You have to literally bottle that up. And when you come back to this third dimension, when you come back to this version of reality, brothers, you have to be drinking that Kool-Aid. You have to be drinking that potion you've made all day, every day. It has to become you. In other words, what I'm saying is that person that you created, in every sector of your life, you need to be that person. You need to never come out of that state. When you're out with your boys, whatever y'all used to do, this new version of you is what they should see. When you go to your family functions, when you go to reunions, when you go to class reunions or whatever, you have to be this new version of yourself. There can't be a time of the day where you aren't this person. I was telling the brothers the other day, I said, even my mom calls me soul now. Even my mother calls me soul now because that's who I am. Like the old version of myself no longer exists. No longer exists. When you wake up and you go to work and you go to these other functions, you can only be this new one person now. Now, this is the thing. That's one part to get, going into that state and never coming out. Once you get in this third dimension, you have to be this person. You have to live that life. But one thing is, and we went deep into this on the Power Circle, guys. You guys need to really get in there. We talked about the only thing that can take a man out of that state. The only thing that can take. See, you have to understand this first. You have to understand that the creative power is 100% emotion. Emotion is 100% of the universal language. That is the language of God. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that the only thing that can bring you out of this prayer, the only thing that can bring you out of this new state of mind is anything that alters your emotion. You know what I'm saying? So what a man must do is first say, you know what? If he finds himself going in and out of these states, if he finds himself going through the ebbs and flows and not understanding why he can't stay in it, he has to look at his life and say, you know what? What is it about each situation I encounter? Like, how does it change? How does it change my energy? How does it change my emotion? When I'm sitting here at home by myself and I'm reading my books and I'm watching my YouTube channels, or if I'm in a circle of like-minded brothers, it's easy for me to stay in this state. It's easy for me to ride this wave and be this new version of myself. But what happens when I get in a room full of women? What happens if I go out to the bars and I'm in a different element, different environment? Does it alter my emotional state? Because you gotta think about this. If it alters your emotional state, that means you're no longer the same person that you were. You're no longer creating the same world if emotional energy is what's creating it. You know what I'm saying? You have to say, when I drink a little bit too much, or when I do other things a little bit too much, like is that altering me emotionally? You know what I'm saying? When I'm around certain family members, when I'm at work, is that altering me? Because think about this, and it's crucial in the workplace. It's crucial in the workplace, and I remember when I encountered this. it's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge for you to say, okay, this is the new version of myself. And whatever that is, whether it's just finding peace, whether it's becoming an entrepreneur, whether it's going down a new career path, it's going to be a challenge for you to become that person and still go to your job and not switch up. And not switch up your energy. It's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. And I can remember when I went through that change, I just remember becoming a different person and never coming out of it. And I can remember the people in my job responding to me different. And I've said this before. A few people in my job, started considering me being disrespectful because they were so used to a lower vibrating version of myself. Once I began to question why I was doing things, once I began to question some of their decision-making skills, like this really doesn't make sense. And in my opinion, I became a more valuable team member, right? But once I changed up because I was someone else, they saw that as a certain way, man. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be hard for you to be in some of these situations and remain that new version of you. There are going to be a lot of family members and friends that look at you and say, you know what, like. He or she is acting different now. He or she is acting like they're better than now. And it's not that you're acting that you're better than, it's that you're a new you. You're better than that old version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people will hear that and instantly fall back to that lower vibrating energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about your emotional state and making that emotional state one state for 24 hours a day. For 24 hours a day. Because it's so easy to when you're alone, or so easy that when you meditate and you're in your own energy to be a certain way. But when the world comes and interacts with you, that's when you're really, it's going to be a challenge. Going into that state and repetition. I'm telling you, repetition on meditation is huge. I can remember certain points in my life where I would meditate for anywhere between 3 to sometimes 6 hours a day. And what happens when you do that is, or for me at least, my worlds became so confused. Like I couldn't tell which world was the real world and which one was me going into that fifth dimensional state, because I spent so much time over there. And where a lot of people tell you to go and relive certain situations to get the emotions stirred up, at some point in time, that emotional state in the fifth dimension is going to be so strong, you'll be able to live life over there. And when I say live life, I mean you'll be able to, like, for example, when I get up in the morning and I maybe cut me some fruit up and do some my daily activities. When I'm in the fifth dimension, I'm living a daily life. I'm going through daily act. I'm cleaning the house. I'm vacuuming. I'm talking to friends. I'm doing this. It's like, and that's how those worlds get confused. But the good thing about that is I spend so much time over there that when I'm back here in this third dimension, it's like so much of that energy is on me that it just sticks. And that's what I call, when you're burning the candle on both ends, because you're creating a state over here in the fifth and the third, man. So in other words, the universe has absolutely no choice but to give you that thing. Because there's no alternative. You know what I'm saying? If you're burning the candle on both ends, there's no other option for the universe to give you except that thing. You know what I mean? So, but it's all about staying in that state. It's all about remaining emotionally stable, man. That emotional energy is everything. So first thing, brothers, just create that version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And don't create that version based on what you've seen. You might have a brother down the street that's making 80K, 100K. You might have a sister that owns her own salon. Don't set your cap on everybody else. Don't look and say, okay, well, this is how they move. So this is what I'm worthy of. Brother, go to that sanctum sanctorum. Go to that deepest part of yourself. Go inside your imagination, man, and create whatever it is you want, man, and become that. There is no limit. There is no limit. But the thing is, make sure you create the world that you want to create. Make sure you create a world strictly based on you finding your peace. But that's it, man. That's how you build the new you. And of course, that's just me skimming the top of on the whole process. If you want to go, if you want a deeper process, of course, jump into the power circle. You know, we talk about that all the time. Very knowledgeable brothers in there. If you want to get a deeper understanding, get the recipe. The recipe breaks that thing down to nuts and bolts. If you want an even deeper understanding, book a consultation. But I will break it down to crumbs and powder on how to create your own life, man. I'm telling you, man, it's all about finding your peace. It's all about understanding how this world works. You know, I tell brothers all the time, I said 2 years ago, the life that I live now, the life that I live right now, I said 2 years ago, I didn't even see it being possible. The level of freedom that I wanted in my mind, I didn't even know another person that lived like that. But I said, you know what, man, I'm going to stand on these laws, and if I can create anything, then let me just step into my true power and create the life I want. And now I live that exact life, man. So I'm telling you, man, it's that easy. It's all about finding your truth. It's all about forming your vision. It's all about understanding your power, guys.